Good evening. Welcome to Reflections on East Granby. My name is Mike Malloy and I'll be your host for this evening. Our guest tonight will be Henry Modzeleski. He was born in 1921, is 88 years old, and is a resident of 195 South Main Street in East Granby. And we're going to get started. Hello, Henry.
Hi, how are you?
How you doing? Good to see you tonight. Okay, it looks here like you were born December 1st, 1921.
Right.
That was quite a while ago.
Yeah. And on 133 Spring Street.
In Modzeleski.
I remember on the second, in Modzeleski, on the second floor.
Okay, really? Okay. Was it, Spring Street is fairly closely constructed, houses are built close together?
Well, it's way changed now than it was when I was born on Spring Street. That's way different now.
What was it like when you were a child? Do you remember much of it?
In fact, yeah, my grandmother and grandfather, they had a cow, and where they live now, where the people living there now, they had a cow and milk, and across the street is all houses. Before it was a pasture, where my grandfather and grandmother had the cow, the milking cow.
Interesting.
And then and the barn was a good-sized barn in the garage for cars. And they had a pig they raised for my grandfather.
Yeah.
And chickens. In the back was a chicken coop.
Okay.
And then like I say before that, my grandfather gave the farm to my father because he lost the guy that. Could I mention his name?
Sure.
Adam Lyman.
That's in East Granby, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, he's dead.
Well, let's just finish Modzeleski real quick. Okay. Well, you were born. You lived on Spring Street. So the west side of Modzeleski at the time was the Bradley Airport wasn't there yet.
Not yet.
So it was just the western part of Modzeleski, basically, probably less developed than it is today.
Closer part to the center of town.
So more towards the center.
Yeah, more the center. You know the dip as you go.
Yeah.
Then there's a dip like.
If you're going too fast, you really catch it.
Yeah. Well, on the houses, at that time was first, second, third house. Sit back a little bit. That was 133 Spring Street.
So you were born there, and you had a brother.
And yeah, he was born a year and a day later.
Okay, so I think you said when you were 7. You moved to East Granby.
Yeah, just about.
Okay. Thereabouts.
Well, we didn't go to school yet then.
Okay, so the late 20s, the late 1920s.
Late 1920s.
Okay.
Well, I went to school first because I was a year older.
So you moved to East Granby. Where did you move in East Granby?
Where?
Yeah.
What they call the Adam Lyman place.
Okay.
I don't know how it was set back in the woods because the airport took out part, 3/4 of it.
So it was the eastern part of East Granby.
East part, yeah.
Right.
Because the airport took it, but it was like their place where it was closed in. The airport had it closed in to make sure that there was plenty of excess room, I guess, for them guys.
Right. They took a lot more space than they actually needed.
Yeah.
But that was a working farm at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my grandfather gave it to my father.
Okay.
It's like for the airport. I mean, yeah, for the mortgage. The guy that owned it, Adam Lyman, he didn't want to pay.
Okay.
He had his girlfriend. I forgot her name. It don't make no difference.
No, but well, hey, some of it comes back, some doesn't, right?
Yeah.
But you had
Antosia.
What was
Antosia? She was Polish, yeah.
That was his girlfriend's name?
Huh?
That was his girlfriend's name?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the oldish side.
Right.
So so then after my grandfather kicked Adam Lyman out.
Yes.
And gave the farm to my father.
Okay.
So my father raised tobacco. So Adam Lyman didn't like the idea. So my father raised about 5 or 6 acres. So about 3 or 4, 5 rows of tobacco, as Havana tobacco. He got a stick and clubbed the tobacco down. He ruined it.
Really? Just out of spite?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Out of spite. Him and Antosia, his girlfriend. So then the cops came and they locked them up, put them in jail. But that was no good. Tobacco, that was their livelihood.
Yeah,
everybody
right.
was tobacco. Those
but
days.
he was angry because he was getting kicked out of his house.
Yeah.
So this is the late 20s, probably just before the Depression.
Yeah.
Yeah, just before. So
well, the Depression was after the war ended.
Well, it was before, but
before was I don't know,
After?
but it was quite a different.
Yeah. That's okay.
No, it was a little bit different before the war. It was like quieter.
Yeah.
Everybody they had before the wars. It was mostly guys, people were raising shade Havana tobacco. After broadleaf came, the shade-grown tobacco. Everybody has shade-grown. You just look around in our town in East Granby, it would be tent cloth with,
so it went
shade.
from broadleaf to shade.
No, Havana to shade.
Oh, what's
broadleaf. Havana had a little smaller leaves.
But was it under a tent?
No.
Oh, so it was
shade was that came later.
Okay, so it was open field tobacco though.
Yeah.
No tents. Okay.
But then later on, when I came home from the service, man, the shade was everywhere.
Yeah.
In East Granby, everything, even little tiny lots of stuff was Gershel and Catherberg. Then it was Gershel. The last one was Imperial.
Right.
I think
we interviewed a fellow a few weeks ago that was pretty involved with. He worked for the tobacco industry his whole life.
But broadleaf, for funny thing, broadleaf was on the other side of the river, and Havana was on this side of the river.
Interesting.
For some reason or other.
See, I didn't know the difference. I just thought the open field tobacco was all broadleaf.
No.
No. Okay.
Havana and the shades of Havana. Well, the leaves is what they went for cigars.
Right.
The wrappers for the cigars.
It's all wrapper
Havana.
tobacco.
Yeah. So they had to sort of be careful with the leaves, you know.
Yeah.
So and on the broadleaf side, they use it more for filler-like.
Right.
On the broadleaf side.
Okay.
And that was on the other side.
Okay.
Of the river.
Right.
Not all.
So the Havana
and
the shade tobacco are the wrappers.
No.
The shade is in the wrapper?
Yeah, shaded with wrappers, but before that was broadly it was some shade in there for cigars with black tobacco leaves rolled into cigars. And then they used the shade. I mean the broadleaf for that.
Okay.
But shade was for wrappers, yeah.
Right.
Because the reasons for shade was because it was that kept the sun from on
burning the leaves. Yeah.
And made the leaves tender, real tender and little small. So then and that's why they would pick. And in fact, when my brother and I were small, not small, but I mean big enough in the summertime, we were picking tobacco.
We were talking about that a few weeks ago. That was a summertime job for most of the kids in the Connecticut Valley for years.
We did it, my brother and I.
Yeah.
We were good pickers too, me and my brother.
Yeah.
We could really go. Some guys didn't. You one guy on this guy, one guy this row, and you pick the leaves like 3 or 4 to a plant and put them on its side.
Right.
And so what the heck?
So let's just getting back for a second to when you first moved to East Granby. You're 7 years old or so, 8 years old.
Didn't do much.
So you went to school though. You went to school in East Granby.
Yeah, I went to school.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you remember
Hazelwood School.
Hazelwood School.
Yeah, it was on Route 20, like going towards Windsor. Because I can't explain very well because everything has changed. Route 20.
Now let me ask you a question. Route 20 used to be School Street, right?
No.
Or School Street? No.
School Street was just plain street, and what do you call it? Street that I said before a little while ago. That was
Route 20?
Route 20.
Okay, yeah.
But Route 20 went where the library is now. It was a school there, the brick building. Well, that was
it's a daycare now. Yeah.
Daycare someday. Yeah. Well, that was School Street.
Right.
And went down there, and then what they call Frederick's Corner, and go.
Frederick's?
Huh? Frederick's. He was a big shot. For the Imperial.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not Imperial, Gershel, Catholic Gershel, for shade.
Okay.
He used to ride around in a 35 Chevy
car.
car. because he was the kingpin.
Big shot, huh?
Yeah, he owned it good, and the road was altogether different. So out the Frederick's corner, it would turn this way and like go towards the Rainbow.
Oh,
towards
okay.
Windsor, up that way.
Yeah.
And the Hazelwood School was up at top, a knoll like. There was old days apparently it was a sand gravel dump or gravel pit.
Okay.
Because there was a gravel pit on the side.
Right.
That way. And that school. So me and my brother, and me, I was kind of a kingpin with the guys.
Okay.
And the teacher didn't like me too well.
No.
Because like in the wintertime, the ice would go down, and the kids would run and slide. So we didn't want the girls to play
Right.
with us because
That's
that was
pretty. Some things
so
never
we
change.
Put sand on there.
Oh.
And the teacher, I forgot, she was from Granby. She was a pretty good teacher, but Miss Barkis was the first teacher.
Mrs. Barkis?
Miss Barkis.
Miss Barkis.
Yeah,
Okay.
from Granby.
Not me.
I mean East Granby.
Okay.
You know what they call? Right now is where the what they call this? How do I want to say? What you buy? What you eat? What do you call that? What?
Pizza?
Huh?
Pizza?
It's grinders and
Grinders, okay.
it's egg and all that kind of stuff. And there's a store there. Well, that's where the what do you call it? Was.
Well, if you go down, you have the center. It was east of the center, though, right? More
Yeah.
towards Windsor Locks. You have a plaza there where they had Peak Fitness, and they have a package store there, and they have a grinder shop in there.
In the center of town. Yeah, you're good. That's right.
Is that where you're talking about?
Yeah.
Or further east of there?
And then it turns left and goes up the hill to Granby.
Yep.
Up on the route. And the other side, it would turn, real sharp to Frederick's corner.
Yeah.
And turn real sharp. And that's where our Hazelwood School was.
Oh, okay. So there was a good hook there.
And Miss Barkis, she had a yardstick, ruler.
Yeah.
But this big, but this thick.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get it, but almost a few times.
Oh, yeah.
But she used to do, she was a little lady, like this big.
Oh,
but,
really?
But she liked my brother.
She liked your brother?
Yeah, roly-poly. He used to have red cheeks. Like it.
Yeah.
And me, I was the kid. The guys, they listened to me, which they should, and then we'd get in trouble.
You were the scrapper?
Yeah, and I would I'd get in trouble.
Yeah,
and
well.
get them in trouble.
Yeah, well, hey, you were young.
Too.
So you went to school there, and you went. What do you remember? What grades you went through there?
Well, then we got I guess you would call it cooties or bugs.
Oh, lice.
Lice.
Yep. Right.
Well, there's what they call boarding house, American Sumatra.
Okay.
People that work for American Sumatra lived in that boarding house. That was behind the school.
Oh, okay.
So, so for some reason, apparently the people lived in there, like the names of DeGrays and stuff. There's some nice DeGrays later, but that was way back when we were a kid. So, so they had cooties. We got them.
Oh, so you got the lice too, huh?
That's lice.
Right.
So my mother washed our hair with peroxide and vinegar and stuff like that. And she went to Dudley Seymour and told my father there, told Dudley Seymour, they had the Cinder School, which is the library now.
Right.
That was the Cinder School at that time.
Yep.
The first to fifth grade was on the one side, and 6th to 8th was on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So he said that we went to Dudley Seymour and said, if you don't take my kids out of that Hazelwood School, put them to the Cinder School. He says, I'm taking them out of there, and they're not at school, period. Well, everybody knew Dudley Seymour, and they liked him.
Yeah.
He was good. So Dudley would transfer us to the Cinder School out there. So then, from Cinder School, I went to Bloomfield High. That was a long time.
So they used to ship the kids from East Granby to Bloomfield for high school?
Yeah.
Wow.
First time. And then, the second time, the kids went to Granby School afterwards.
Interesting, yeah.
And first Bloomfield, yeah. Then finally they built their own school
Right.
that it's now. That
Right.
took quite a while to build a school
Right.
there.
It was a pretty small town at the time, though.
Yeah, yeah, it was a nice little town.
Right.
And like Dudley Seymour, everybody liked him, and he knew everybody.
I bet, yeah.
He used to call me Alec. That
Alec?
was my father's name.
Oh,
After my father died, well, my father's name was Alec.
Yeah.
So he used to call him, but he was good. So, but what were you gonna do?
So what other? So you grew up. You went to Bloomfield for high school.
Yeah.
And then when you graduated high school,
No, I quit.
you quit. Okay.
Yeah, and I worked in a warehouse in the wintertime for tobacco. My
Okay.
father worked in a warehouse, and I worked in a warehouse too, for the shade tobacco, because they're doing all the things with shade.
Okay.
How would you want to call it? You put in this bulk for sweating and all the
Yeah, doing the
thing
stuff in the sheds, basically, in the warehouse.
In the shed.
Right.
Then in the summertime,
Right.
you worked it. But then the war came,
Yep.
and Uncle Sam decided that he needed me more than
Then the tobacco company. Yeah. Right.
than Gershwin Catholic did.
Yeah. So.
So
You were
I got the
drafted?
letter,
Yep.
and then July 1st, I think we had to go to. That's when they swore us in too.
Right.
On Hartford, on High Street, it's by the railroad station on the left-hand side.
Okay.
You go up there, and there was a street there, and there was like a hall down there and stuff. That's where the Army had us. It's
The armory. The state armory?
No, it wasn't
okay.
the Armory.
I'm
There's
not
a
too
Trestle
familiar with that.
Bluff. You know what the railroad station is?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
On the left-hand side, you go for Trestle going. That's Salem Street.
Yep,
Going
Salem.
towards the West Hartford way.
Right.
On the left-hand side was where the hall was.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Right.
Well, that's where they took us. Oh, how much of us? About 50, 60 of us guys.
Well, did they keep you guys together as a local group, or
No.
did they just from all over the place?
No.
Yeah.
That day they took us.
What year did you say that was?
41.
Okay, so
42 actually. Yeah, 90. Yeah, July 14th.
So this is like
Well,
six months after.
July 14th is when my father took me to the railroad station.
Okay.
But July 1st, the officers and stuff, they broke us in a little bit.
Yeah.
Told us what we had to do when
They
we
yelled at you a little.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Reminded you of the teacher in East Granby a little bit, right?
Yeah. So he said. So they said July 14th.
Yeah.
And so they swore us in.
Right.
So July 14th.
So this was about 6 months after Pearl Harbor, give or take. It was 1941 was Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Right? Summer.
I worked
summer,
at my uncle's gin mill in Depot Restaurant in 1941 on spare time.
Do you remember where you were during Pearl
Yeah,
Harbor?
I was a waiter for my uncle.
Right.
And it late, and we were talking. Pretty soon they said, "You know what happened? What happened?" They said, "What?" He said, "Pearl Harbor was attacked."
Wow.
That was
Yeah.
1941.
Right.
And then then I get my nice letter from Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam said
telling
we need
me
Henry.
that he needed me
Yeah.
real good because I was a good man. Yeah, right. So
So where did you go when you went in the army?
so 19
It was the army, I'm assuming. The army.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So on the army for Fort Devens.
Okay.
July 14th. My father took me to I think it was Windsor. There's a railroad, used to be a railroad station in Windsor.
Okay.
And my father took me into the train in Windsor, and we ended up in Fort Devens. We stayed there. They gave us a uniform and all that kind of stuff. I think we stayed there about 4 days. One time I'm remembering that. I remember something that happened 50 years ago, something that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Kind of tough.
Yeah, well, hey, that's
So,
what they say.
anyhow, so they give us a uniform and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And got us, because there's no airplanes and everything like that, because somebody had asked me the other day if maybe it was you or somebody that when we did the army, did we fly into all trains? that time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think I
it was.
asked you.
Maybe it wasn't you.
No.
Don't make no difference. It was
Right.
all trans. We ended up in Fort Devens.
Right.
I mean, Camp Gruber,
Where's that?
Oklahoma.
Okay.
A little ways from Tulsa. Tulsa, capital city, Oklahoma.
Yep.
But this was like towards Muskogee, this town, and there was a big area down there. And in fact, when we got there, the third barrack was, because it's 3 barracks to a company.
Right.
The third barrack wasn't even finished yet. That was our barracks. So then I was on KP one day, and
No, tell the audience what KP means.
Huh?
What does KP mean?
What do you call police?
Camp patrol? Or,
No, in a
not
kitchen.
camp. Oh, kitchen?
Yeah, kitchen patrol.
Kitchen patrol, okay.
Camp, yeah, KP.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah, I
was.
guess K would be kitchen rather than
The kitchen.
camp.
Yeah. So we're talking. So peeling potatoes. Like
Right.
one time, sometimes you see them on the radio, on TV. You know,
Right.
a bunch of guys, KPs. They call them kitchen police, but they call them KPs.
Right.
So then we're talking. I said, you know, my aunt wanted to send me to Cooks and Bakers School, and she was going to buy me a car. What she said, she was going to do all this, and buy me a car, Little Red, the convertible. We had it picked out. And then I said, you know what happened? I said, pretty soon I got a letter from my Uncle Sam.
Yep.
That's a quote unquote.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, I could have went to being a cook.
Right.
But she would pay. She would pay me to. I mean, she would have paid my going to school.
She would have paid your tuition. Yeah.
So then after that night after KP, they said the first sergeant wants to see you. I said, usually the first sergeant wants to see you once I did something wrong, but
not a
not
good
this
thing.
time.
Yeah.
So I went, and Sergeant King, he was a real nice guy. So I says, he said, I heard that you had a chance to go to Cooks and Bakers School. I said, yeah, my aunt said she sent me to Cooks and Bakers School if I worked in her gin mill after I graduated from school. She'd pay for the school.
Right.
I said, but Uncle Sam had a different idea.
Right.
So she says, the first sergeant said, would you like to go to Cooks and Bakers School? I said to myself, man, that's the best thing that could happen to anybody.
Right.
I said, yeah. So he said, at the end of the week, he said, turn in your weapon, your rifle, and pack up your stuff. And what do you call the school was on the camp, walking distance from our company.
Right, okay.
So I turned in I didn't even clean my weapon because I turned it in anyhow. So the lieutenant said, your weapon's dirty. To myself, I said, tough. I just turned it into the thing.
I don't need it anymore, right.
I got my
So they trained you to do that in the Army?
Huh?
They trained you to cook and
yeah. I went 1 month cooking.
Yep.
And 1 month baking. But you cook 1 month, one day you cook, and then one night, the next day you bake. One morning
okay.
it's cooking, and one afternoon it's baking. That's the way it works.
So once they
2
trained you
months.
for that, where
Huh?
did they send you? Once they trained you for that, where did they send you?
No, it was a camp.
Oh, you
And
stayed at that camp?
Yeah, you
And
stayed. That's a school. The camp had their own mess.
So that was where you were stationed?
That's
through the
where
war?
all the cooks that were learning stayed
Right.
for 2 months.
And then-
If you was going to go for mess sergeant, well, that would have been third. But us guys, well, we didn't. They only need one mess sergeant to a whole company. So
Right.
then after school, I still remember my point. It was my score. It was So afterwards, school was over. So then the sergeant went somewhere that I think it was in a book, that telling us what the score was. So they opened the book. I says, "What's mine?" He says, 88.9.
Pretty
so
good.
I
Huh?
thought that wasn't too bad.
No.
So then I went back to my company. It was walking distance anyhow.
Okay.
So, and I stayed with them till the whole war.
You stayed in Oklahoma at the
And at the C
you're-
company, Company C,
C company.
349 Infantry. That's
Okay.
what my company.
So they never got shipped out?
Huh?
They never got shipped out to battle or to
The cooks don't.
Oh, okay. So you were just Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
cooks.
So you were stationed
No,
there.
the company that we went on maneuvers
Right.
afterwards.
Right.
In Oklahoma and Texas.
Okay.
From maneuver in Texas, that was quite a while. In the summertime, we landed in Fort Sam Houston,
Okay.
and we stayed there for a while. But the cooks were different from the company. We didn't have nothing to do with the company.
Okay.
Because we, in other words, how do I want to say this? We just cooked. That's all.
Right.
And we no combat duty, no nothing. It's with different.
So that, but that company, C Company, artillery, you said?
No, the infantry.
Infantry stayed in Oklahoma and Texas through the whole war?
No,
Oh,
we end up. Well, I'm coming to that.
Oh, okay. That's it. Yeah.
So then after Texas and Fort Sam Houston, they did some training. Then we went to Virginia.
Okay.
Camp Patrick Henry.
Okay.
And they say that the cooks, we had a good mess sergeant. He knew how to keep us out of trouble from
Right.
training and all that kind of stuff. But we weren't cooking, so we kept it.
Right.
So then after Fort Sam Houston, Camp Patrick Henry, we got on that big ship. Empress of Scotland was the name of that ship.
The Empress of Scotland. Okay.
Yeah, about 3 masquerades thing, a great big thing. They say it was a Japanese ship that the English captured from the Japs or something. So they said. I don't know if that's true.
They changed the flag and the warning signs and came and picked you up.
Yeah. So then we landed in Casablanca.
Oh,
we
wow.
stayed there for a while,
Oh.
and not too long. But then we went to Iran. Iran was friendly with the United States. That
Iran.
time. So we stayed, and they did maneuvers because, and the maneuvers there were mountains, almost like Italy. Italy is one mountain down the valley, another mountain and the battle.
So you're in Iran training in trying to get familiar with the terrain that would be similar to Italy.
Right. So then we come back, got on another ship,
Okay.
and landed in Naples.
Oh.
And outside of Naples, that's where the war started.
Okay.
And we kept going and going and going.
So you just followed the action right up through Italy.
Yeah, but we didn't. We were lucky. We didn't have to. We did get a combat badge, but the reason for that is our mess sergeant was real good, because we were a company they'd be in battle, but sometimes they would stop fighting for a while.
Right.
And so we would bring chow up there in the combat.
Right.
So then we were in harm's way.
Technically you're in
They
combat,
figured
yeah.
So we were. You know, I was there. Coming back, we brought the chow down there. We call it chow.
Right.
That's the food.
Yeah, they still call it chow. I call it chow.
Sure. So then I'm walking pretty soon by my ear, go bzzz, like that. You know, I scared the heck out of me. It was coming back because there was mountains and valleys and mountains. And I think some guy, German, because we were fighting the Germans.
Right.
I think he was a poor shot because they come by my ear. I could hear it. So then we're walking back, going up the mountains. My third cook, that was because I was the second cook, third cook, he was walking, going back up the mountains like it, and he couldn't breathe. He was choking like to death. So there was foxholes all along. So he stayed in a foxhole for quite a while.
Catch his breath?
Yeah. So me too. So then when I got up to where they were, well, I had to get all the weapons from the, what do you call it? Supply sergeant, because we didn't have any. The cooks didn't need them in a regular time.
Right.
Yeah. So I turned the thing in. I was telling my sergeant, I said, you know, I was almost choked to death. I said, going up the stupid mountain and breathe. You breathe, and I was almost dying. He said, well, why don't you throw the rifle away? I said, yeah, if I threw that rifle away, you'd probably make me pay for the thing.
Oh, right.
But
So it was carrying the stuff that was knocking you guys out.
Cook, with my cook,
Right.
It would be the third cook.
Right.
He for about a month, he slept in a pup tent in the regular tent with me though. But his head would be here. He put his head next to mine.
Right.
He got so scared about it.
Yeah.
That place, man, oh man, that's a scary place.
Was it? Yeah.
So after that, we ended up in Brenner Pass.
Okay.
That was the end. Then we come back.
Now, where's Brenner Pass?
It's up near between Austria and Switzerland, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you basically went up the spine of Italy there.
And it was June when we went up there. There was like with those mountains that go around and
The
around
Alps?
and around. Huh?
The Alps?
They call those baby Alps.
The baby Alps, okay.
So there's loaded with snow
there's
up
another
there.
name for this. Is it Pyrenees?
Huh?
No, that's in Spain. I'm
No,
not sure.
Brenner. They called it the Brenner Pass.
Okay, the Brenner. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Brenner Pass.
Yeah, and we stayed there, and it was we stayed there for quite a while. Then we come back. I don't know why we went up there. We didn't. That's where the war ended.
You were following the Germans all the way back to Germany, basically.
No, they did.
Not quite that far, but
No,
yeah.
we was in because that was the Brenner Pass was between Austria and Austria and Switzerland. I'm sure it was. I know it was Austria, but
Right.
Switzerland, I think.
Okay.
They're close.
I'm sure there was a strategic reason they went up
And
that way, yeah.
then we went going back.
Right.
So the war ended. So I stayed there 4 months after the war ended,
Okay.
and they wanted me to. So I cooked. It was good cooking. In fact, we stayed in a little town. I had myself a nice little girlfriend there
Oh, nice. Yeah.
for a
Yeah,
while.
hey.
When I was for cooking, I cooked
Yeah.
for about 20 guys
Right.
because they were like guarding the motor pool or something, because,
Okay.
or whatever. So I was cooking by myself.
So you had to keep them fed.
Yeah,
Right.
and I was the second cook. I don't know what the rest of the cooks did, but I had it real good. So then, after the war, 4 months afterwards, apparently, I don't know how that works, but apparently, after the war ends, they don't want to have the GI stay too much because they have to pay.
Right.
So because there's 3 years, 4 months, in the army, altogether 3 years, 4 months, and a couple of days that
Right.
excuse me,
That's okay.
that I stayed all together in the
Right.
service. So that 4 months, they had to pay a longevity for us guys.
Okay.
So they didn't like that. So
Right.
they sent us back to the States. In fact, we landed in Cap Patrick Henry again, and I had a headache. I don't understand. It was almost killing me.
Right.
And then they took us to like a movie theater to get orientated, or I don't know how you call it.
Orientated, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Reorientated to the States. Yeah, yeah.
Because you didn't know what was going. They
Yeah.
think we didn't know what was. Maybe we didn't. Some of
Yeah,
it.
right.
Go.
Two different worlds there.
Yeah. And then I think I was telling you about that. But when what I was telling you after we got home.
So you come back from and you did you have to stay in the army a little while after you got back, or did they discharge you pretty quickly?
No. It was 4 months.
Right after the 4 months, though, that was it.
They came me Johnson Barracks.
Okay.
In New Orleans.
Okay.
I stayed there for about a month or two.
So from there, you got discharged from Johnson Barracks?
No.
No? Okay.
Then everybody else went to Camp Boucher. I didn't because I missed the boat there, and I went to Jackson Barracks, which was good.
Right.
Because it was a beautiful kitchen, barracks, it was a real mess hall, beautiful thing.
Right.
So I cooked there for about 2 months. Pretty soon, I'm walking because the barracks were close to the mess hall. So they said, Corporal Modzeleski, he says, report to the personnel.
Right.
I said, okay. So I walked to the personnel. No, they said, you got to go to Camp Boucher. You're going to get discharged. So the Camp Boucher is where they tell you, ask you if you want to enlist again, and if you want to drive a truck again, and always no, and all that kind of stuff.
You were eager to go home at that point.
Yeah.
You were eager to get home.
Yeah.
So they discharged you, and you came back to East Granby?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you get back to East Granby...
got back in September.
Okay.
So I didn't do much.
Of what year would that be? The September
1945.
1945. The war is almost over, right? Was it over?
No, the war was over.
It was completely
4 months over.
So you had VE Day and
Yeah. So I was home for a little while in 1945. Then, in the spring, my father was like a foreman on a tobacco plantation.
Okay.
For shades.
So you're back in East Granby.
Yeah.
Yep.
And me and my buddy, that he come back from the war too. We just didn't do nothing during the winter time.
Right.
We just fooled around, play. We used to play pinball. Not pinball. What do you call
bowling?
it? Bowling.
Really?
A lot of bowling things those days.
A lot of bowling. Where did you used to bowl?
In Hartford.
You go all the way to Hartford to bowl?
Yeah. So then, but the in the spring, when the plantation, everything activated.
Right.
So my father was a foreman, so I think that Fred Veets, he was a big shot.
Yep.
Well, he was a judge in a town anyhow before this.
Right.
So that he was a big guy running the whole shebang.
Okay.
About 100 and some acres of shade.
He had a big farm.
I was about 25 years old. And I love driving tractor. What kid wouldn't?
Yeah, exactly, right.
So
beats picking the tobacco, right?
No, that was way before.
Yeah, okay.
Picking tobacco, you had to be a kid. This is a grown up.
This is the adult job.
You're already man. So yeah, maybe. So I said, I'd love to drive a tractor.
Right.
So he says, okay. He said, you can be a tractor driver. He had two. Ray Salmon was one, the older guy, and me was one. I had the more powerful tractor, and I was a good tractor driver.
So this was at the Veets farm up on North Main Street?
Yeah.
On the left side, that's now East Granby Farms.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Well, it was in the center. His office was in the center.
Okay.
But the whole town of East Granby was, at that time, was a shade.
So the
American Sumatra, American Sumatra, yeah.
So this was before they started building all the houses after.
Yeah, way before.
So the majority of East Granby was still all farmland.
All for shade. All
shade tobacco. Okay.
And then after a while, the last company was I forgot, the Nicholson brothers had the last shade. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
I've heard of it. Yep.
Yeah, they're the last ones that raised the shade. After that, there was no more.
Right.
Fred Lee said you can be tractor driver. So he said, I never drove a tractor. So he said there was a lot of manure on what do you call it? On where the shade, the tent is.
Right.
It was going to be. So he said take the manure spreader and hook the tractor to it and practice driving that tractor and spreading the manure and the thing. And that's where I learned.
Can't do any damage just spreading manure, right?
No, but I was a young kid. I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was lucky to know how to start it.
Yeah.
So then after that, I was a real good tractor driver. But I only did in there 1 year, because after that I went factory.
Okay.
Pratt and Whitney, Hamilton.
Spent a lot of years doing that? Working in the factory?
I quit in all those places.
You quit?
Yeah. I never got laid off.
No.
Pratt and Whitney, I worked in what's that place I told you, making locks? Combustion? No. Well, I was making railroad locks anyhow.
Right.
So I'd quit making locks because there wasn't enough money. So I'd go to Pratt and Whitney first. I didn't like Pratt and Whitney, so I quit. And they gave me 10 cents. They wanted to give me 10-cent raise, Pratt and Whitney, and I said no, I don't want it.
Why'd you quit?
Because I didn't like working there.
Okay.
And there was a lot more jobs. Jobs were plentiful.
Yeah.
So then,
this is right after the war, going into the early 50s.
So then I got combustion engineering.
Right.
Got a job there. I quit. Quit the lock deal.
Okay.
Make locks and went there.
The combustion.
And then Hamilton, I got a job there. I quit. Everything place I quit.
So you worked at a lot of the big manufacturing concerns in the center.
Almost all around.
The state here, yeah.
And
So at that point you were living with your parents?
Yeah,
still?
all
Okay.
the time. And
Okay.
that's where, when I got married, we lived a year.
Where'd you meet your
downstairs.
wife?
Huh?
Where'd you meet your wife?
Next door. She was
Oh, she was your neighbor?
yeah.
Okay.
She was 18 years old, going on 19, and I was like 24.
Okay.
And on a farm.
Okay.
I was driving tractor, and she was just setting tobacco.
What was her
on the
name?
set.
What was her maiden name?
Dorothy.
Dorothy?
Piniak.
What was that?
Piniak.
Dorothy Piniak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was the last of 10.
Oh, wow.
There's 8, and her family was 8 girls and 2 boys.
Okay.
And
And you, where were you? I'm sorry. Where did your parents live at that point? What was your?
across the street,
But,
you know,
But where did you live at that point?
in East Granby. We lived in
What was
East
the
Granby
address?
all the time.
No, what was the address of your parents? Because it wasn't still the.
Oh,
the Lyman
yeah.
farm, right?
I don't remember. What the address was on that one.
What street was it on?
No, it was on School Street.
right on School
Right
Street.
across from the library.
Where the daycare is now.
The First was Adam Lyman Place, which my father.
Oh, so you that was the family
that.
residence through the.
That was
Okay,
before
gotcha.
that.
Okay, I thought
Had
maybe
a-
you might have moved in
He had
there.
to sell that. The state government, the airport took that.
Okay.
Kicked my father out of there, and
Okay.
not him. All the guys, John
Yeah.
Phillips and all a bunch, kicked them all out. And so my father, Harry Nicholson, owned the place, but he rented it out to my brother-in-law, which he had to get out when my
Right.
father bought it.
Okay.
Good thing, because then across from the library. So then Dorothy lived just up the street, walking distance, close.
Right.
And I don't know, so I met her on a tobacco setter. And so,
yeah? You guys were both sitting on it, or?
Pretty soon I asked her for a date, then and I only
Yeah.
knew her about my mother and father knew her mother and father for years back, long
Right.
time. And Dorothy was the last of 10.
So your parents were okay with it? Her parents were okay with it? And the
Yeah,
rest was history?
they loved it.
Did they?
Because they liked my mother and father.
Oh,
her
okay.
mother and father were like my mother and father real good.
Oh, okay.
And that Modzeleski name, for some reason or other, those days, meant something for, I don't know why,
Okay,
but
right.
it did, but it,
Yeah.
they liked it.
It's a nice name.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get married, and what year did you get married?
December 19, December, yeah, I should have known that.
It's okay. That's all right. So it's in the 50s. Just a
No,
year. I don't need the date.
46.
Oh, for-
19, I got married.
So you were married like right after
19
a year after you came back. From
Yeah.
Okay. all right.
1946
So you started
I got
when you
married.
started working all these jobs. You were already married.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're working
But
different jobs.
I lived there downstairs. Dorothy and I lived downstairs with my mother and father. Then my brother-in-law lived upstairs.
Right.
And Dorothy's sister. So my father and mother told them to find a different place. And Dorothy and I moved up there. And we lived there for quite a while.
So it was a two-family.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a two-family
Basically.
place.
Yeah. Okay, so you lived there, and then you lived there for quite a few
Oh,
years.
yeah,
right?
yeah, quite,
You had
yeah.
your children there.
They all were born while we were there.
So you had a daughter, Donna and Dorothy Elizabeth. Now, there's an interesting story.
2.5 years apart.
Well, that's good timing, huh?
And I said, I used to tell my father, I says, if I ever get married, I probably will. I said, I only want 2 kids, and if out of those 2 kids, I want 2 daughters.
Right.
And that's what I did.
You did. You had a
And
plan.
my brother did the same thing, but he only had 2 boys.
Oh, really?
But the 2 boys of his, they never got married.
Really?
So my
Interesting.
brother feels, even now, he feels bad. Because the Modzeleski name, he had 2 sons. If they got married and had kids,
Yeah.
the Modzeleski name would have been carried on.
I bet
and
you
it isn't.
No, I bet you there's a few
And
other
he-
Modzaleskis
he
kicking around.
feels bad. There's
Yeah.
Modzeleskis in Suffield, our
Right.
cousins.
Okay.
They pronounce their name just a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because my aunt Anna, she's the one that left the W out.
Okay.
She said that you pronounce it wrong when without
So
the
how
W.
would you say? How do they say it?
Modzeleski.
Modzeleski.
The right way.
Okay, all right.
Almost like the way you said.
The way I said it initially, and I mispronounced.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but,
maybe in the back of my head, I knew the name.
But Modzeleski is the way.
That you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. So you had Donna and Dorothy Elizabeth. It was an interesting story how you named them. Well, how did that work out?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That was good. So, and then,
What?
I don't know, but then, well, in the meantime, when the kids were, I was getting all these jobs and stuff,
Yep.
on and off and stuff. And then finally, I think finally in 1960, I settled down to James L. Howard Company. That was the original one.
And that's
I
where they made the
with
locks,
them.
right?
Huh?
That was the locks?
I stayed with them.
They made locks for
railroad locks.
trains.
Huh?
Railroad locks.
Yeah.
For the railroad yards or for the trains themselves?
No, doors.
Oh, for the doors on the... Okay, great.
On the train.
The ones that you slide and they clang together and they latch themselves, or the ones with the...
No, they were regular doors, but locks, but they were big.
Okay.
Big locks. They were made out of brass. And I got there in 1950, one of the first jobs I had.
Right.
After the war. So I learned a lot about those locks.
So you picked... So you're working, you got 2 kids, well, just to get back for a second. Your wife picked the name Donna, right, for your older daughter?
Yeah.
And you picked the name...
I picked I picked the name Dorothy Elizabeth because I didn't like the name Donna.
So you let your wife pick the first name,
and she liked Donna.
And then you got to pick the second one. How did she feel about the second name?
She didn't like it.
She didn't like it. Okay,
tough. She didn't have a choice.
A deal's a deal, right?
Huh?
A deal's a deal.
Yeah.
You go first. At least you were polite. You were a good gentleman. You let her go first, right?
Yeah.
So you're back. You're working. Everything's now. Your daughters, did they go to school in East Granby?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember what schools they went to?
But the high school, they got it toward when the high school, the high school now.
Right.
They were on their second or third year when the high school, because they're already bigger when the high school was built.
Okay.
Because, when I went to school, Bloomfield, we had to go to school.
Right.
And then I drove a school bus in the meantime.
In East Granby.
Yeah, for Prevost, then the Grangers. I don't know if you know Grangers.
I know. I know the Grangers. Yeah.
Do you know Gordy?
Gordy, I haven't.
There was John Prevost.
Yeah, I know who he
Young
is.
John Prevost, and there was old man Prevost. He's the one that I drove for.
So there was a Prevost had buses, and the Grangers had buses, or
after Johnny died, and young Johnny didn't want the buses.
Okay.
So he sold the bus to Gordy.
Okay, so that's how Gordon got into the bus
And he
business.
bought me with the bus.
Oh, you came with the bus.
Yeah, but I only did it spare time anyhow.
Yeah, it was part-time.
Because I was working, I don't know, Pratt & Whitney, I think, or something that time. When
driving a bus is morning and afternoon. There's not much going on in the middle of the day.
no.
So, yeah.
So I think I worked second shift all the time.
So you had some spare time during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had spare time.
Did
And,
your wife ever work? Other than
yeah,
tobacco?
but like on a plantation, she was like inspector. She was making a little bit more money because she was an inspector.
Okay.
And on the summer, she worked on a plantation, sowing tobacco stuff.
Oh, interesting.
She didn't have to, but I mean, she liked and she wanted
Yeah,
to. So
kids were probably in school.
She was her own boss. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, her and I, one thing, we got along perfect together.
Did you?
That's why when she died, boy, that really
It was tough. Huh?
knocked me for a loop.
Yeah.
Because she was really good. We just got along perfect.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do?
What a story.
Maybe if we fought like crazy and stuff, she'd be alive today, probably. Usually sometimes that's the way that works.
They say only the good die young, right? So
That's what they say.
She was good.
Well, I don't know why I'm still living then.
All right. So you see your kids, they went to school. They went.
Yeah.
Now, I try to ask everybody this. What are your memories of East Granby during the 50s and 60s? Do you remember when it started to develop? They started to build all the houses, and you were probably pretty busy raising your family at the time. Huh?
Yeah, I didn't pay that much attention.
Any big changes that jump out in your mind that you remember?
No, not really.
Yeah. Route 20 changed the center.
In the 50s and 60s, I don't think they weren't building quite as many as a little bit later.
In the 70s?
Came a really gush
Really?
building. Before that, Because after that depression came, and that knocked everybody for a loop. So, but I was lucky working on a plantation because I liked that and I liked the job I did, even though I got $40 a week. But that time, $40 a week in 1945, 46, $40 a week was fairly good pay.
That was a lot of money.
At that time.
Did you pay rent to your parents or you just lived there?
No.
No, you just lived there for...
I paid, me and Dorothy paid half of the taxes.
Oh, that's nice. Which probably wasn't
My
very
father didn't want the rent, but he said if we wanted, we pay half of the taxes. So we did.
Yeah. Do you remember how much that was?
No. Because...
you got a good memory for this. That's why I'm asking you. You remembering some of these details from...
No, I know that we paid it, but I don't remember. But that changed every year.
So you must have enjoyed living in East Granby if you stuck here.
Yeah, that's a good town. I liked everybody because I belonged to the fire department.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Then I got to be a captain.
Really?
Up to the fire department.
The volunteer fire department? Where was it at the time?
In East Granby.
Where was the station?
With the town hall burned down.
Right.
But that was in that town hall, downstairs.
They had a fire trucks parked there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got to be a captain. Then I was in the auxiliary state police.
Really?
I was a auxiliary state trooper for a while.
So you worked in East Granby as a state trooper?
No. Troop H.
Oh, okay.
In Hartford.
What was your role? Tell me what an auxiliary
It's
police
auxiliary. It's well, for the starter, we had to go together as guys.
Okay.
The auxiliaries, because we didn't have the powers of arrest.
Right.
The powers of arrest were they say we're gormand, so that means we don't.
Right.
Well, then I was a constable too later on, but a constable in East Granby.
Oh, okay.
But that was a powers of arrest.
Okay.
What do you call it? Town clerk. 7 of us got to be constables and.
Now, who asked you to do that? You're living in East Granby. Somebody.
What do you call it? I just mentioned his name.
Dudley Seymour?
No. The closer ones. When Gordy Granger.
Oh, Gordy Granger.
He wanted me. He got me. He said you was an auxiliary state trooper. He said you know something about police work. Because I was an auxiliary for 9 years, on and off.
So, was Gordy the selectman?
Huh?
Was Gordy a selectman?
He was some kind of authority in town.
Was he? Yeah.
So he wanted me to join the constables.
Okay.
I didn't want it, but I said, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
so
right.
I did. But we had powers of arrest on that.
Yeah.
That was real cops.
That was before they brought the resident state troopers in.
No, they had 2 resident state troopers.
Okay.
One of the resident troopers now it's a constable. He lives at Billionaire Hill up there. What the heck is his name? I should know. He was the second boss. Holcomb was one of the state troopers.
Okay.
I think he died already, Holcomb. Flynn.
Flynn, okay.
He's a constable now.
Yeah,
because he said he was too young to quit being a cop, being a constable.
Right.
So he joined. He quit being a cop, or I don't know if they made him or what. But he joined the constables.
You referred to a place as Millionaire Hill. Where's?
Yeah, that's what I call it. That's where town clerk lived Millionaire Hill. I call it Millionaire Hill. That's where what do they call it? Lives up there too. What I just mentioned his name.
Seymour.
No.
No. Okay. Which name? Granger.
No, Gordy. No. This guy. The one that was a cop and got to be a
Flynn.
Flynn.
Okay, right.
Well, he lives up there,
in
Millionaire Hill.
Where is Millionaire Hill? What streets is?
You know where Dudley Seymour used to live?
Oh, on Holcomb.
Yeah. Well, across the street, up on the top.
Okay. Right.
There's all rich ones. That's where the town clerk, her name Vita. I forgot what was it. I forgot her first name.
So you're talking about like Washington Ridge, that area?
Yeah, Washington Ridge. That's
okay,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she. What was her name? Well, I know her from way back from when she was married to Fred Vita's son. But he was an alcoholic too.
Right.
He finally died from that too.
Yeah.
Killed himself. Amazing. No.
Bad habit.
But that doesn't make any difference, really.
No.
But she was a town clerk. But
Okay.
she swore us, and 7 of us
So,
got to be
so they
constables.
rounded up a bunch of you guys and swore you in, and you had constables. You had town constable. You had 7 town constables.
Yeah.
Was that the first?
No. The one counselor sold us 7 constables,
Right,
yeah.
okay,
With
yep.
the 2 state cops,
So they okay.
Holcomb and Flynn.
Right.
And Flynn was Holcomb was a big shot. You turn in your report
Okay.
every night to Holcomb, and he'd tell you good or bad. Sometimes he said, Henry, you did really, really good. And, because we worked from 7 to 12.
Okay.
That was it. And some nights nothing much happened. He said, you loafed last night. I said, well, he was a good guy, though.
Good guy, yeah.
But he was our boss. And Flynn was like his assistant.
Okay.
But they were real state cops. Those Flynn and Holcomb.
Yeah, right. They were actually state police.
Yeah.
Anything else you did in town that you remember that you were?
Yeah, just to do some things, but I don't remember now what. I don't think so. Did you do anything out there that on the paper there?
Oh no, I was just taking notes. I just wanted to make sure I got your name and all that right. That wasn't I didn't
because
quiz
you at the house you was gonna write some of those.
Oh, I
things
just asked you some real quick questions to kind of jog your memory. Anyway, so you lived here many years.
So I worked I worked down at what do you call it, making locks for. I quit. I got laid off at John Deere. Not me, everybody.
Right.
Because that vice president came and closed in the West Springfield, closed the place down.
They used to make John Deere in West Springfield.
Parts.
Interesting. Okay.
And sell tractors. My brother used to live there too. And,
so they actually had a manufacturing plant there.
And so I used to, so my brother lived there. So when I got laid off, or quit, I don't know what, so so I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's okay. So he worked up there too?
Oh,
John
yeah,
Deere,
for John Deere, yeah. He was, and Mr. Phil, I think, the boss, he was a good guy. I was picking parts. You know, the farmers used to come in and with a sheet, and you used to go on. When the railroad, when I first got there, it was a trolley cars, railroad cars come in. You used to have to take the railroad cars, the stuff in the railroad, and put them in the...
You had quite a manufacturing background in different places. we're running short on time, but I wanted to ask you one question before. If you could, this is a generic question. Don't feel pressure to answer it in any specific way. But if you could give advice to young people, what would be the one piece of advice you would give, based on your experience?
Kind of enjoy the people you work with all the time, which I did. I never got mad at nobody, and nobody got mad at me.
That's good advice.
I think that seems like that's because that's why I like working in town here.
Yeah.
And even in like Hamilton, the Pratt Whitney and stuff, because I never. My mouth wasn't bad.
You weren't a wise guy. So get along with your wife, which you seem to do perfectly.
She was a real good woman.
And get along with your coworkers.
My family, my brother. In other words, me and my brother and I, it's only 2 of us. We got along good together. But working together, I mean, for people, I never had no problems working with people.
That's great advice. Well, I wanted to thank you, Henry, for coming in. And I wanted to...
I could have...
Oh, no, but believe me, you did great. You totally... Well, everybody's got a different story. That's the theme of this show. So, anyway, I would like to say good night to our viewers, and thank you for joining us. And tune in to GCTV 16 for extensive coverage of local citizens and town meetings and local events. And we're glad you could support us. You can always go to our website, GCTV16, if you're not able to catch the shows on air. And you go to View Online, and you can watch these 24/7. Good night. Thank you.